Alright, what's up everyone? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today's topic will be about how can we look for a day trade, how can we look for a scalp, how can we set some key levels for us to use for the following day or for the given day, which is can be pre-market, can be for probably the opening, or what can we expect for intraday, right? So let me just minimize my screen and we'll go from there, okay? So what we have here is Microsoft. Doesn't really matter what stock it is. It can be Apple, it can be Microsoft, it can be NIO, it can be Verizon, it can be American Airlines, it can be Delta Airlines. Doesn't really matter, but the most important thing here is how we can do this over and over and over again, and and take money out the market and extract it right from the screens into our pockets, and all that good stuff, right? So the first step, what you have to do is have a system, okay? Have a system, and within that system, it can be a breakout entry above here, or it can be a supply zone to look for a run up into higher prices, or it can be a resistance to look for a rejection, right? Either or, okay? So all we're doing here is just we're looking for a rejection or for a bounce, and that is just the way that we make money, is either if the market's running up or if it's downtrending, either or, okay? And so if we're right about the move, perfect. We can secure for a profit, we can secure for a gain, and all that good stuff, right? So again, before you approach the markets, you have to have a system. What type of system do you want to use? Do you want to use a break entry? Do you want to have a supply and demand zone system? Or do you want to use support and resistance rejections? Or let me just put support resistance, just like that, just to keep it simple, okay? So either or, okay? So out of these three, you pick one. So out of those three, let's just say that we pick a break entry, okay? And so the way that we're gonna make money on Microsoft is look for a channel like and look for a breakthrough to see higher prices, right? And that is just what my bread and butter is, what I'm going to apply into these charts and see what I can do with key levels or key ranges, and how can I identify one, the structure first, and then from there, within that structure, where can we potentially mitigate into or liquidate, right? But just based off this one system, we're just going to look for a break entry, okay? So let's delete all this. And so we already choose our chosen our break entry model, right? And that's going to be our system, okay? So let's delete everything and let's just go back in time, and let's go into something like this, okay? All right, perfect. So we're like, I would say this is Thursday. Already the next day would be Friday, but this one would be already coming into Thursday. Perfect, perfect. So the market exchange, or the stock market exchange, ranges from 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern. It could be different for your time, but in this case, this is Eastern. That's just what I have it set. So here it's either support or resistance, or we can just set a break entry, right? So what we have here is, we don't really need to look at the far left because there's a 15-minute time frame, and you could just see that the only thing that matters is what happened from yesterday, right? From the past. And from the past, meaning it could be yesterday, it could be last week, it could be last month, it can be last year, right? But just based off this 15-minute time frame, we're trying to approach it as a day trader or a scalper, or maybe potentially a swing trader, right? So from a left to right, we have lower low, lower low, lower low, lower low, run up, right? So now we technically shifted bullish, came right back down, and another bullish break. So now on 8:45, this is just where we're currently laid out right here, okay? So our key levels for us to go short or bullish is to see if price wants to go short here to go lower, or to see higher prices in here to go above, right? So let's just continue and let's see what the next candle will be. Okay, cool, that's 9 a.m. 9:15. All right, cool. Now you can see that we had a break, an extra break in here, and I would say that this right here would have been a nice break entry, and that creates a pennant, right? So let's go on a 5-minute time frame, and you'll see that right there creates some sort of pennant. And you can just see all in all, on a 1 minute or 2 minute, it did give you a big bullish candle, but look at the way that it closed. Just due to the way that this candle here closed, I'm not really feeling this, right? I'm not really feeling this just due to it didn't give me a valid body, just closed with a heavy rejection. And every wick here is just a strong rejection. To see what? To potentially see liquidity here to be taken and mitigate these demand zones, right? So in this case, if I'm looking for a day trade or looking for a scalp, what I want to look for is another one of this, right? So you have one, now we want to look for another one that creates something like that and look for something like this, because that right there gives you one break, second break, and that shows you that money wants to go up, right? So all you're doing here is reading price, and if you reprice it correct way, does money want to continue going up or does it want to continue going lower? So in this case, on this 5-minute time frame, you have 5, 10, 15 minutes already in the market, because this is already what, 9:40, right? Or the next candle would be 9:45 actually. And we want to see is another, reversal right back up. So at the moment, you can see that if I just put on a pennant just like this, it's just holding those support resistance, right? Because it's holding that trend line and it's just bouncing. So it's just buyers are buying this up on the rejections of those trend lines, right? So let's just delete this for a quick minute, and let's actually delete all this too. Okay, so let's just wait for another one. Okay, cool. So in that case, you have another break here, and if that was the break, or if those were the lines that we're using for us to look for buys, your break entry would be that next candle, stop loss would be here, and you'll see that right there is already a nice +1 trade. And now you're targeting where would your target be? It could be either at 1, liquidity areas, 2, supply and demand zones, 3, a set risk or reward already, right? So in this case, I want to target a supply zone or a imbalance here, okay? Just like that. And all I'm doing here is drawing an area where there is imbalances in the markets for price to come into, to see something like this, or just to see a breakthrough. But for us, since we're trading this breakout, we want to see which one. I'll give you a second to answer that. You'll say this one, right? Because that right there would be a wonderful risk reward to mitigate higher prices. But let's just see what we get, right? Within that move. Great, wonderful. And you could just see on how quickly I just did that from a left to right, and just using pre-market levels, and understanding how price is being delivered into those markets, and how we can use those trend lines, which is that one entry model or system, to look for a entry, right? So it's just a break, a retest entry, or just a break entry, stop loss, right? So in this case, this right here was a wonderful move, okay? So that right there gave you 1 and 2. So it gave you 2 pennants. And this right here can be a system that you can create for yourself, is that even though that breaks once, just due to the downtrend that I had from the far left, you want to look for 2. And then for the second one, you want to go for the entry off of the second pennant, okay? Just like that. Stop loss would be below here, here, or maybe here. And again, all comes down to your risk management, how much you're willing to risk within that trade. And if it just, backfires on you, then you take a -1, right? At the end of the day, we really don't know what could happen. It's either if this can come right back down, or wrong about the move, or right, in this case today, based off this back test, we're right, correct? Because this is June 8th of 2023, right? And this is still, 11:10 a.m. And out of the 11:10 a.m., you will see that this is only 1 hour and 45 minutes. 1 hour and 45 minutes, you made 5K, you made 10K, or maybe you just made $50, right? But, this right here, any amount here as a plus, as a profit, is wonderful, right? It's amazing because at one point, you know, we looked and applied for a system, we see and understand the price, and if you're right, you made 50 bucks. Or if you risked, or if you added more contracts, then you made 10K. Or if you added, not as much, but you add in a couple of contracts, and let's just say out of this 5K, you threw in 2K, and out of that 2K that you just risked to target this one high in here, or maybe a high in here, you just made 5K. That's wonderful. That's great, right? So again, any amounts, it's good, but at the end of the day, what really matters is, did the system play out? Were you right about the move? If so, give yourself a high five. Okay, so let's just see what happens. Great, it gives it another move, a liquidation, and now just due to more of a heavier rejection, this can now plummet to the downside, but we're not going to look for puts yet. Why? Because it's still delivering higher prices, because these highs are still coming from these lows. So what I could do here now is, if I trim some positions, or if I just put profits, it's up to you again. But let's just say if I took profits on partials, and now I can have runners. And so if price comes back down into here, it would break me even, right? So let's just see what happens. Break even. Yeah, broke even right there, right? Broke even, and again, it happens, right? And this can just, fall or drop, but in this case, it dropped and then it ran right back up. But again, we're gonna do the same thing. So this was Thursday, now we're gonna see, okay, RZ, I need another signal, okay? But again, you could do this on your own. You could do this, just using key levels, choosing one system, and how you can approach it one way, one strategy, and that's all you need, okay? So let's delete, actually just leave this here, and let me just, actually no, delete that, okay? So we're gonna apply the same way, right? So whatever we just did here, we're gonna apply the same way, okay? So this is already what? Thursday. So it doesn't really matter because everything in this blue or purple shaded area is post-market, okay? So this right here is 5:15. So we want to go into 9 a.m. 9 a.m. is right here. And this is just us waking up to see what's going on in the market. 9 a.m. Okay, cool. It's 9 a.m. Okay. So 9:15. 9:25. Okay, cool. Right? So in this case, what I would have done here is, if price made this low, made this high here, okay, cool. That right there is a break high. You have nice S&D zones in here, and you can use that. But again, we weren't a participant here for after hours or pre-market, because we can't trade that if we're trading options, right? So what would I do here is that since price is still bullish, it's still the structure is still holding to the upside, even though that this right here is holding this demand zone, you see that there's Wyckoffean concepts or Wyckoffean setups in here to take, but again, we weren't a participant of that, okay? So what I can do here is that I can set a key level in here, and then a key level in here, right? So whatever happens on this burst into the impulse move is just to liquidate these highs, and just see a run up. But let's just say that we missed this whole opening, right? It's 9:35. Out of 9:35, it's only 5 minutes in the market, and price is just what? Give me a big burst, or give me a big blast to the upside. But again, that's fine, right? So let's just wait, okay? So now what we can do here is we can go lower time frames and see how can I now be a participant within those areas, okay? So we want to see again a run up, a consolidation, and then a run up again, right? So even if price breaks above here again, is no entry for me, because the way that I want to see price is create me a pennant to break out, right? And that's it, okay? And that's my only system that I'm trying to apply in my stock markets, or in the stock markets, and enter, okay? So, okay, cool. Now price ran higher, Now it's creating another pennant, just like this, okay? So price can consolidate all at once inside of this little pennant, and we're gonna look for a potential entry, okay? So let's just see what we get. And we're gonna get an entry right above this line here, okay? Or actually this line here, okay? Right there, to see higher prices, okay? And that's all we're doing. It's already what, 9:30, it's 10:12, and what we want to see here is a breakthrough, okay? So price is just, holding on to that area, no entry, nothing, right? So nothing, okay? So what we're gonna do here is now wait, okay? We're gonna wait. Let's go back on a 5-minute time frame, and we can now do something like this, okay? Now all I'm doing here is just being flexible with my pennant, and now I just turn it into, or just transformed it into a wedge, okay? And so you can just see it's like all we're doing here is just setting trend lines, and out of those trend lines is just liquidity on both ends to see a breakthrough. That's just why you see breakouts. So we're gonna enter here pretty much, and we're gonna see if we can get a nice liquidation off of this high, and this right here would be a nice trade, okay? We're in this trade, and our stop loss is set. And again, at the end of the day, it's a 50-50. Either we can win or we can lose, okay? So we lost, right? So that's a -1, okay? There's nothing to do here, okay? So what we can do here is just delete, 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 and we'll wait for another potential setup, okay? So let's just zoom out, let's just see what we have. Okay, cool. So what we had Monday was a nice win. Tuesday, a slight loss. So it's either you're up or you're down, just depending on how you manage within your trades. But today's topic is only about how can we approach the markets with a specific system, okay? So, and that system is the breakout. So we'll wait for a next potential entry. So now what we can do here is set something like this, something like that. And now what we're gonna do here is we can set a buy entry above a specific area, key level, and there'll be another videos about key levels and key ranges. And we're gonna do here is entry there, stop loss below here, and we're gonna look for another potential entry. Okay, cool. Now we're in that trade, and let's see if we take a nice +1. So this right here would have been either if it's a swing, or it could just be a stop out, or we just close a position at the end of the day because maybe you don't like to day trade, or maybe you don't like to scalp, and you'll be out already. But let's just say, for example, if I just swung this, my stop loss would be here, and hopefully price does not stop me out for the next day, right? So everything in blue is we're not a participant in, right? So after hours, pre-market's currently up, so you would be, oh, okay, we're up, right? We're slightly up. So that right there creates excitement, that creates, joy. But again, at the end of the day, we shouldn't have no emotions. Why? Because we shouldn't have that behind any single trade that we take, okay? It's either if we win or if we lose, it is what it is, okay? So let's just see what happens. So it's 8 a.m., 9 a.m., so 9:30 would be, yeah, right here, almost. So 2 more candles, I believe. Actually, 2 more. Okay, cool. So now we're currently down, right? So we're currently down or at a break even because price just came back down, hit a support level, and now it can potentially bounce right back up, right? So let's see what we get. Okay, cool. We still have not been stopped out. And so just due to not being stopped out, stop loss here still. And what I can do here now is set something like this. And again, we're just forming another potential trade because we're just looking for longs just due to the structure. And where would my entry be? Break above here. Stop loss would be the same stop loss here, but again, we're waiting for the breakthrough, okay? Okay, cool. Now we're in, right? We're in that trade. We're looking for longs. We average down, and now you can see that we have now positioned ourselves into what? Into another new highs pretty much. And now we're mitigating, as in what we just mentioned, somewhere in here, right? Okay. And now what I can do within the positions is that I'm currently up, and I can set it to a break even, take some profits, take some partials, because this looks good, right? So there you go. At the after hours, it's up here now, okay? So Let's just see what happens for the following day. So now that right there looks good, but we want to see on how pricing closed above here. Perfect. Okay, cool. So the moment that price made this new high and just came with a heavy rejection, I can now decide to take profits, take take my positions off, and I can now scale out, right? So that right there is a way that you can apply a specific entry model or system to approach the market, right? So again, have a system first before diving into live trading. And within that system that you choose, do a full data collection, meaning do a full back test, forward test, and a demo, right? So back test, demo, forward test before you go into the live markets, okay? This is what you want to do when it comes down to you picking your one system. Okay, so out of your one system, forward test, back test, demo, and then you dive into your live account. Okay, and then from your live accounts, now you can make an X amount or do this, and again, that all comes down to risk management, and there will be a video about risk management in the future. But other than that, hope you loved this video. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment what you want to see on the next video, but have a good one, and I'll catch you on the next one.